go City. Welcome to the RBA, one of the busiest days of the year. RBA Fantasy Draft Day, where we create everything. Ambitions are swirling. Times are swirling. We've got everything under our control. It's the RBA Basketball Association, the Ranger Basketball Association, a basketball association to be remembered. RBA Basketball coming up next in 20 minutes. 20-minute coverage of our RBA Association, of our Standard Association. The RBA is a National Broadcasting Association.
What's in the car in front of me? It's a student driver. I could see you taking your driving test and not paying attention, like looking at a girl on the side of the road, and you slamming in the back of a car and killing a whole family.
What are the best players to pick? Well, Marv, we are the analysts, and we say go with the players that they're mentioning that are supposed to go first. If you do not get someone that's supposed to be first, someone else will get him. And that makes him the better player at the end of the day. Yeah, these guys are averaging the most points in statistical history for any team. So if you want to go for a guy, you got to make it big or go home slow. This is what it's about. At the end of the day, if you're not going to pick the best players to be in the draft, then don't pick. Fantasy draft, only 4 hours away. The draft. Who do you think should be picked first? I think it should honestly be Justin Holiday. He's having an MVP season.
Holiday.
What, man?
Holiday, koçan kagır. Gusta koçe.
Oh.
Tu adam ce?
What?
Atunci pară te lăsa ca și de gândă.
It doesn't. Go. Annoying, man. Tyler Omega. I think the best player to pick is Justin Holiday because he has the most artificial body. He will be doing damage in the RBA. Yeah, well, he's one of the best to do it. Who do you think you select if you want to start with a big? Well, the obvious choice would be Riley Griffin. Best center in the league by far. Okay, what if you lose the chance of getting him? R.J. Williamson, I believe. Honestly, next guy in line. They are saying that Scott Horford is having a better season than R.J. That is true, even though R.J.'s having a hell of a year. It is Scott Horford that is leading the way in that category. A lot of guards are in this draft. More guards I'd say, are in this draft than shooting guards, and that's going to create a problem that they're going to have to either discuss or fix, which makes a big situation because we don't have any power forwards right now in the league as we approach DeAndre Jackson. This is about the 20th player, and they're already approaching on 12 guards in the first 20 players. That's a big number, and there's only one point guard, one small forward other than John Wall, and then there's Jordan Smith. Jordan Smith has made a bounce back this year. He's done so well. He's making a bounce back season. Yeah. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job, having that opportunity to get better and be one of the best again is just an honor at the end of the day to play basketball. But he makes it a whole nother level of superior material. And it's just phenomenal to watch players like him. Small forwards are probably going to be the worst picks you pick, and then I'd say power forwards are going to do you a lot because Andrew Bogut is a power forward. He's a backup power forward, and he's one of the best power forwards in this league as a backup. They will not start him. They said that Ivan Manning is our starter. That's the story of that. We're not changing it. I don't know why you wouldn't change that. Let's talk about Bill Wanna having a breakout year. Finally having that year that you can talk about. 32 years old. I mean, Bill Wanna, man, you have got to be kidding me with this guy. Such a phenomenal player, guys. He just changes the way you play basketball completely. Wanna, like, wow. I never thought that a Denver player, would be doing this good at the age of 27 years old. Used to play for Baltimore. Used to, keyword. And just ever since he's been on Denver, his statistics have gone increasingly up, and I love it. Are there? Well, they are talking about it right now. How there are way more point guards than any other skill set still. So if this were to continue, they would have to move some and state them as shooting guards. Now remember, we will not be changing their actual position in the game. This is just okay. He will be a star aspect. The guy keeps coming into the room. He's bored. Well, they're discussing it, and they're seeing like that it's a big difference maker. That the shooting guards are actually catching up with the small forward. So, so also catching up. So I'd say, yeah, about 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. I want it to be even. It's not going to be even. That's a sad reality. It's not going to be even. Roddy Barrick is one of the best at it. And then Robert Jett. They're going to make Cam Walter a power forward officially for this draft. Chris Anderson is a top 10 forward right now in the league. He's above Ryan Kurdinger, and he's benching. Do you give Chris Anderson the starting spot if you're Orlando? Yes. Give him the starting spot, Marv. He is earning it. But once again, you have that bench. You have an issue with that now because you don't want to put players behind that don't deserve to be behind. Anderson is on fire, but no, Marv, actually. You do not do that because then that's a big change of your roster. You do not want to bench an 86 overall in Ed Thuns. I understand they've also talked about trading him. You know why they want to trade him? Chris Anderson's development has turned around. It's not terrible anymore. It's amazing. And he's just a very good factoring of his play staff. Clay Thompson, Jason Smart, 95 overall. Let's talk about Smart, who's actually playing tonight. Well, he's going to be a very big aspect. He's a 95 overall. Very overrated is what people are calling him right now. I'd agree with that because he just isn't doing the best job right now in this league. A lot of power forwards as well are not doing great. But Jason Smart is just something else. He just struggling to find a way in the league. They've countlessly blamed him multiple times for their failures on him. And when you're doing that, there's got to be a reason you're doing that. Is he really the issue, or are they just blaming him? I think he's actually the issue, Mar, because when you put him on the court, every time he steps on the court, there's something wrong with the game. And they're not happy with it, obviously, and they want to change it. You can change it. You can trade him away. It's not before the trade deadline, which is, I believe, after the All-Star break. And that's plenty of time. You guys got plenty of time right now to make adjustments, and fix it, and hopefully they can. Good news, Bradley Beal is still a top 20 guard in the league, but Marcus Morris also gets that reward. What about that? Well, he's a great guy. Marcus Morris is probably one of the best backup point guards you will ever have in this league. He's a very great general guy. He's got a really high, versatile style of play. Don't pick him in the draft, though. Don't pick him in the draft unless you want him as your backup point guard. Man, Marv, he's already a backup point guard. Why would you pick him? Look at that. Dax Freeman Jr. makes the 20th in the draft. Yeah. I'm hoping that there's no more small point guards because we're almost done anyways. Yeah, it's an efficient part of the league, to have forwards and centers, but it's a great part of the league. Maria Davis, he's one of the best in the league. Derrick Rose. As we approach crunch time, once we hit a certain time, the game will start. And this game, Marv, it's an unbelievable game, Russell Murray, one of the best. Nick Tritton Jr. I mean, he's still developing, but he's very good for his age, I'd say. If your position rank is good in this league, you will make it long. You will be here for a long time. But if your position isn't good, you will be cut. It's simple as that. And Kobe Jones makes it as 21. 22, Nick Parker. Both backup point guards. Dax Sherman Jr. also is a backup point guard. They're probably going to fill them into another spot. Yeah, well, guess what? Cam Barrett made it. He barely did not make it. Made it at the 21 mark. They have 2 spots to fill for the shooting guard. They'll just fill it there. And then they'll put Cam Barrett as a small forward, as a power forward. Very close, though. Very close. Yeah, a lot of teams have that comparison. You got 2 point guards, 2 extra point guards. You got 1 extra small forward, and you got a -2 on subtraction equivalencies. That's not 100 though. I'm sorry to say that's not 100. 20, 40, 60. That's very close, but it's not 100. It's 98. They counted 98 players only. We missed 2. Somewhere along the line, we did miss 2. I don't know where, but, 4 minutes till RBA coverage begins. This is going to be one of the best seasons I'd ever seen. Because, right now for the All-Star game, we don't know how it works. So we can't say. But we would have to see how it works and then get back to you guys next year. It's the only way we could actually guarantee you guys anything. But right now, Holiday and Portes are the starters. And then for the shooting guards, it would be Jack Moore and Aaron Simmons, both very young stars. I'm assuming they pick the best players in the world and don't pick it by position, because if they pick it by position, this is a very relevant thing that we did right here just now. John Wall and Joshua Kramer lead for the small forward position. A lot of guys I'm seeing that used to be in it every year won't be making it this year. It's sad. Chase Budinger is definitely not going to make it, as well as Derrick Rose. I'm seeing Derrick Rose going out the window soon. Like, once his contract is up, it's over for him. Like, he's got to retire. Mac Jack leads the West. Henry Love leads the East. That's the end of the story for that. Gill and Bogut will be the bench players. Is what I'm looking at right now. I think James Freeman makes it too. We do not know if they are doing it like this though. Ryan Griffin definitely may not make it. I'm gonna say may because he's unbelievable. He can spark up whenever he wants to. More power forwards in the West that are being represented than the East, obviously. As we will begin now. The game of a lifetime.
And those will be our starters. Some intriguing matchups on the floor tonight. Sit tight. We'll be back in just a moment.
Riley Griffin, and Stephen Aqua.
Welcome, everybody, to another presentation of the NBA live on 2K Sports. With two Hall of Famers, Doris Burke and Grant Hill, I'm Brian Anderson. Allie LaForce, our reporter. Just 10 games left. Let's see the playoff race in the West. Hasn't been a bad year thus far, but they're...
All right, we're going to bring in the commentary. Yes, sir. LAW right now at the 7th seed. Denver and San Antonio leading the West. Seattle and San Diego falling behind. I'm going to thank you guys for coming out here tonight as we will begin one of the two most passionate basketball teams. LAW and Baltimore, one of the rematches of an RBA Finals game from years ago. Two teams that have very strong powerhouse teams. And we begin the tip-off, the 3 o'clock tip-off right here. As the coverage begins here in Baltimore, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. A RBA coverage of two best teams in the RBA. Two of the best going at it. Here's Mulder to start off the game. Baltimore, as they have 3 stars right now who are powerhousing in both conferences. Kobe Wellman, the backup point guard for the Eastern Conference All-Star game. As of right now, that's what it would happen. John Wall starting small forward, the best small forward in the league, I'd say, and a star powerhouse player. He's got a 28 points per game on the road, 67% and on the three-point line, and 4.6. There's Val. That's one of the best players in the RBA. He will right now be the backup point guard for the East if they were to have the All-Star game right up as now. He definitely made it, though. One of the best players in this league, and he does a great job at playing basketball. Beal, not anywhere to be found. He's 18. If you look at 22 guards that are in the top 100 players, he's 18th out of those 22. Definitely not an all-star this year. Gill, Mac Jack, who is actually also starting alongside John Wall. Definitely the path for him is so easy. No one competes with him other than Andrew Bogut, as there's Wall again. Baltimore is undefeated this year, but LAW, they've had struggles so far, 8 games in. Mac Jack. Beal ahead of the offense. Beal to Mac Jack. He'll shoot a 3. And there's a reason why all these guys are such great players. They work hard every night. Every practice, they put in the work to get there. And this is why they're here. Smart, who's had a struggling season. Not even one of the best shooting guards. He ranks 15 in the shooting guards out of only 18 guys in the top 100 as they released their top 100 for the fantasy draft today. Levi Watson, nowhere to be found in those centers. But, it's going to be fine. Levi has had a struggling start to his career, 2nd or 3rd year, I believe it is. But he's going to be all right. I believe in him. John Wall having a start of a season. This game so far has been all John Wall. Kobe being backup point guard, and then Gil being backup power forward, and Val being backup point guard, and Kobe being backup small forward. Right now, they're all in that 2nd place spot for starting. Could they get to there? I believe they could. What do you think, Mark? Well, I really believe that this team is special as we take our first time out. Well, these two have fought at it. A 14-5 start for LAW. One of the best starts of RBA history for the Wizards. They have not won many games this year. And them doing that this tonight, it'll be great to beat an undefeated team. You have to have the courage. He's the only undefeated team left. You have to beat them if you want to end their run. Baltimore is such a good team. They have such a great IQ. They got a great coach. There's nothing in their way. There's literally nothing standing in their way. There's Allen. He's an old guard. Val will shoot. Missed again. Great defense by the Wizards. Morris. He actually is right in back of Bradley Beal, who he's 19 out of 22. That's good for him because he was starting small point guard a couple of years ago for Oklahoma City, but they were struggling to get anywhere with him. So they traded him off to LAW in that big situational trade that got them Jason Smart. Shane Larkin also decided to join Oklahoma City in that trade. Was it a trade? No. Shane left to Oklahoma City in free agency, and then LAW filled that void by getting Jason Smart. They did, though, get Oklahoma City's pick, their second pick, because Oklahoma City was struggling so much. No, they didn't. They used their pick, one of their oldest picks, actually, to get Jason Smart. And that was the best player available. He was the point guard for Michigan State when he was in college. He's an exciting guy. Rick Shredden able to get it. A full RBA season long. What a great mandatory factor we've got here in the RBA. Birdie ahead to Val. Val on the drive. Yes. Connor Val. 31.7 at home, 20.7 away. Obviously, he loves this arena more than going away and playing anywhere else. Rick, Wall powers at home. John Wall is one of the best players in this league. You go at him, he's coming at you. There's no way to stop him. He's a beast. He's legendary. He's unbelievable. Allen shoots, bang. That's what Allen does. That's what he's needed to do on the floor. He needs to provide a floor. He needs to provide a sniping ability. When he snipes that basketball, he needs to be able to catch and shoot. Be a sniper. Know your role and be a sniper. That's a great way to play basketball. LAW up by 5 right now. But they taken care of business so far. Baltimore starting now, very struggling so far. But they will catch up, trust me. When I say they'll catch up, they will catch up. And they are a way better team in the crunch time moments. Darren Scott Jr., that's the coach's son. Marcus Morris ahead to Oregon. Phillips. Lawrence Phillips. Drew Ray. Morris ahead to Phillips, who shoots a weird shot, throws it out, and bangs it home. What a shot by him. I'm shocked that we're not seeing any new guys taking pressure position or putting in the work. Allen, great shot by Noah Allen. That's what he needs to be. He needs to be a sniper, and he's just done a great job at that. Obviously, he's not a top 20 player in the league as they announced the top 100, and obviously he's not the top best, but he's got a role, and he's got to make that role count. As Darren Scott Jr. will narrow that one in. Darren Scott Jr. also has to learn to play basketball. Still very young talent. Vincent Russell DeBurry. Blake Burry, he's put on a roll. Allen again, bang! Literally all Noah Allen tonight for Baltimore. They've done everything. Phillips ahead to Oregon. As LAW continues their start of the season. Phillips. Oregon. Allen has takeover, so be aware of that. Our RBA game coming up next. Will be the The showdown of a showcase. Reed puts that one in. Philly at Orlando, 4 o'clock. And then we got New York at Minnesota, 5 o'clock. And then we'll be back here for the nationally broadcasted game, Boston at San Diego at 6 o'clock, which is a very important game. Phillips, Lawrence Phillips, yes. He's able to get those buckets as we are about to end the first quarter. Pretty early for a matter of fact to say. 3:09 p.m. Great shot. And that'll end the quarter. LAW winning right now, 29-26, in this very vicious start to the game. We need to put the audio up a little. It's kind of gloomy day. We have a bunch of games today. There we go. Two very good teams back at it. The showcase. Mulder, fine. Beal. Lob to Smart. Now Wizards up still. Baltimore has not taken the lead yet. They've had chances but have not gotten much. Gill, unable to. Here's Val ahead of the offense. Mulder. Wellman. Gill for three. Bang. Smart bangs it home. Jason Smart. Val for three, bang. Beal. Ray. No. Drew Ray. Wellman bangs it home. Colby Wellman. Great shooting night for Wellman. Wow. Baltimore now leading. Rebound by Gill. Good job. And good job boxing out. Making his job easier. What a great player. Wow, what a drive. Now, yes. Rio ahead of the offense. He scores. Wow. Wellman. Well for three, yes. Wellman is one of the best players in this league, and for him to do stuff that he does, usually, unbelievable job by him. Wow. Ahead of the pack. To Watson, ahead. Gill. Shoots. Yes. Thomas Gill in Baltimore now, starting to power up their home. 29 assists as they average. Wall. To Smart. No. Watson rebounds. Gives it a foul. Foul for three. Yes. Another foul. 17. 17 on the night. He's got takeover as well, so he's going to be dangerous now. Don't expect LAW to win this game, but if they do, that's a great win. And that brings them to 3-5. That will put them up in the standings. They're supposed to, they were projected in multiple prototypes that they were going to win the championship. They were projected second round exit sometimes. I remember they were projected to win a chip. But I don't know why they won't win one now. They've had struggles trying to make the playoff picture. And they have the West, which is the easier than the East. Baltimore is destroying every team in the East. Don't worry about Baltimore. But if you're beating this team, you can beat whoever you lost to, honestly. Baltimore is the best in the world. So if you're beating this team and you're close to them, you are a good team. You just need to find your composure. Some teams, they have struggles with that, like the Washington Wizards this season, for example. For some reason, Wizard is cursed. The name Wizard is cursed. I don't know what it is. It's just cursed this year. And we just got to figure that out, see what the problem is, and they got to figure it out and make adjustments, you know. Foul. Unable to that time. Wizards can take the lead. They've had multiple opportunities to do that. Morris. Wall finds Tritton. Pumps, waits. Good job by Rick. He's 14, so he's not close to making the All-Star game. Griffin, Horford, RJ, DeAndre, all Eastern guys are centers. So 4 East guys lead as centers. So the competition in the East is harder than the West. Aqua, Lopez, Coleman Jr., and Owen Christ Jr. are the 4 that lead in the West. Alfred is all the way down there, so no one knows what he's doing there. Colin Holiday, Davis, Foy is better than Rick right now, and Thomas, his brother, is better. He does beat Nick Tritton Jr. and Rick Tritton Jr. Rick Tritton Jr. is nowhere to be found in the top 19 centers in the league. So, just know that. He's one of the best Trittons still. Not the best. That would be Thomas Tritton. As they've gotten very old over the years. Thomas, Rick, Nick. Nick Tritton always used to be one of the best centers in the league. But then he retired, and his son took his place, and now his son not doing as well as Nick used to do. Well, it's because they have other guys, like San Antonio Knight and The league is not as easy as it used to be. Remember, the league back then was West, Quentin, and Nick, and then you had Jack, or what's his name? Jack Calling, and San Antonio Knight. Back when they won the 2007 chip, that was their roster. They played three guys, and it was West, Quinton, and Nick. And they were the tallest group because other teams wanted to do that. Some teams didn't want to do that, but it was usually small point guard, power forward, and center always. Always. Or small forward, power, and center. And they would make this forward the center, the point guard. Because guys like a bigger team than a smaller team because bigger guys can learn how to shoot, and that makes people that are small have no advantage. No advantage at all if you're small. So, yeah. Like players like Mac Jack, you gotta understand that. Quentin, Nick would go against Oven, Oven, Kalen, and Tom Dominoes. Tom Dominoes. That's a tough matchup. But when they match up, their heights meets the same thing. Same with Dallas. It used to be Carl, Noah, and Gio. That's a big matchup. The West always had those. In the East, they even had those in the East, Marv. No guards. No point guards were really that great back then. Jet was a backup power forward, honestly. Because Johnson, Troy Diggins, and Garnett were all on that Boston team that won 5 chips in a row. One of the most chips ever won. The Baltimore team is having a 70% breakdown. West, you got to play better defense. But back when the RBA was a bigger difference, it would be Dax, James. You remember the Miami team? It would be Ryland. Terrence Gill was a shooting guard. He did not get that many minutes as James Freeman and Zayn Freeman and LaMarcus Aldridge, remember? But see, they would be bigger groups back then because bigger guys were able to keep the contracts with the other teams. And other teams were tall. Other teams. Teams being tall is what it was back then. Now guards are finding a way in this league, especially in this league. Or it's always been guards in the NBA. That's what makes the difference between this league and that league. People like Colby Wellman, once-in-a-lifetime type players back then. You wouldn't have Danny Eskin start and Tom Domino start on LAS. You would have Michael Slime, Mason Schuyler, and Andrew Collins start. You would have Owen Christ, Kalen Garnett, and Tom Domino start. You would have Nick, Orion, and David start. You would have Gio, Noah, and Carl start. For the East, you would have Boston's core power of John Karsten, Johnson, and Diggins when Garnett left. But when Garnett wasn't there, it would be Diggins, Garnett, and Karsten. And the guards would be Nash and Jet. That's not that strong, or Danny Jet, So, them adding in the guards like Holden, those were just backup guys back then. But then they decided, let's put, this was like common era, like 2015, 2014. They decided, let's put them essentialized in the league. Because smaller guys started to come in the league. Before it was taller guys. Then smaller guys started to star power the league. Starting with Josh Frazier, Jake Morin, Jack Morin. Those type of guys, they took over. And that's the greatest part about this league. The evolution and the greatness of it, So that's a great part of the RBA. Yeah. Back then, you could continue with that. New York had Carter Val, Kevin Wells, and Adrian Gadula. That was one of the smallest groups to ever win a title. They would destroy the tall guys. Because when you're tiny, you can go under them. But if you're tall, you can put your hands up. But you're faster when you're tinier. Not that you're tall But when you're taller, you have more weight on you, and that's harder to like run with. Smaller guys are skinnier, so they're able to run faster and tiny, like Allen Iverson, Muggsy Bogues, those type of guards we're talking about. Small guys, you know, those guys like Russell Westbrook nowadays. You got John Wall, you got Steph Curry, who's very short for his age. Um, those guys, passionate, real passionate, Mark. A real passionate showdown. Isaiah Thomas, if he even plays nowadays, he got thrown out of the league, honestly, with the competition that they have nowadays. John Morant being the new guy. I say Luka's a big guy. He has a good shape. That muscular, good, fat body shape like LeBron James. For New York, they had that group of Wells and Bucket, obviously. It was Gudula, Royal, Brown, Bucket, and Welsh. And then when a player went down, they had still 4 guys. But when Carter went down, they only had 4, so they couldn't really do much in the finals or against Boston. That's why Boston beat them 5 times in a row in the Eastern Conference. Miami used to always have that Terrence, Ryland, and James group, or Zane group, Aldridge group. Aldridge retired in common era, went to Cleveland. Cleveland always had Lee, Johnson. Cleveland had Lee, Smith, and Johnson. They also had Jack Brees, so they were small too. And the one team we're forgetting about, always forget one. The original teams were Boston, Miami, Cleveland, and one more East. I can't really remember right now. Baltimore and Toronto were added. Chicago and Orlando were added. And New York, yeah. So we went through all of them. Cleveland was the last time. New York, Cleveland, Miami, and Boston were the originals. And they added, after they had 8, they added 10 to each side. They had a 10 total, 12 total, not 10. They never had 10. Added Baltimore and Toronto. They both sucked their first year. Miami beat them their first year, and then Baltimore, Connor Val went off and started being a superstar. And that changed the RBA completely. He made the finals every year, made the East so horrible. West was different every year, but East, he was too strong. He's still too strong, more. The era isn't even over for Val. He's never going to be over. Like, you pick up Zachy Mulder and Thomas Gale in a positional roundup, it's unbelievable. If you had that back in the old days against Boston, obviously no, Boston would win though. But if you had that group, nowadays that's an overpowered group. And that's not even that great to say super team. That's not great to say, oh, they're all-stars. Mulder's been an all-star, but he's a role player. He's not an all-star caliber player anymore. He's old as well. So when he won his first chip, it was in college. He was brought up from college to play with Miami. That's how great he was. They said he was going to be a sensational player. He just turned into a role player, won like 1 all-star MVP, went to St. Paul University. Not that great of a guy, you know. Not that great of a player at the end of the day. Not even the best in his draft class. Got injured. You know. Jake Morin got injured as well. Jack Morin never got injured. Aaron Simmons got injured. Josh Frazier's been injured multiple times. So injuries continue to fly, especially with star players. You know the one guy who hasn't been injured that much? Robert Jett. He had a couple concussions and injuries a couple years. Frazier came in, walked in, star-powered the place, turned into a superstar. Now he's one of the best shooting guards in the league still. He's not even going to make All-Star year this year, though. He's old. Jenny, one of the best now. Simmons, one of the best now. The league has changed so much. in this conversation we're having. It's unbelievable what we remember about this league and how far it's been. LAW and Baltimore continue their matchup. Baltimore's led for a little bit of more than a quarter. Mulder, unable to that time. Ray. Scott Jr., he's one of the best power forwards on the Wizards. Oh, I'd say second tier power forward. Very good though. Phillips to Morris. Morris, yes. Reed. I think Reed is a great guy. He's the future of Baltimore. And when you're adding Shannon Reed, when Val retires, that's going to be your superstar. If you don't trade him, obviously. They have to fix the cap, Mark. Yeah, they're going to do that this season. They're going to pay the 99s a high amount, fix the cap. Because right now you can trade for anyone. The trades aren't that great right now. But in the off season, this September, I say it's going to be a fun off season. Gill, ahead to Monsanelli. Gill, unable to that time. Orgon to Tridden. Tridden, unable to. Val rebounds, Monsanelli. Double screen set, Monsanelli. Canelli. Oh, nice shot. He's pretty good. Once he develops, I'd say he will develop eventually. Once you get to a 70 overall in this league, not forced obviously, you'll start getting badges. They want to say it's 80 overall. If Monsanelli and those guys are already 70, yeah, I'd say once their 2K puts them at 80, we'll start giving them a couple of badges, and then they'll develop from there. And if they go higher, then they'll get more badges, That's what the league's going to be like once Val and all these star powers retire. Because all these guys are eventually going to retire, All the guys. All these guys. Do you cancel the league, or do you look at the league going forward? Is the league in good hands with Val, Holiday? Portis is staying here for a long time. Omega will be here for a long time. Brown, Freeman. Yeah, they got a good future already. Carbide, Lee, Brown, they're all good future. I'm talking about Bolino, Holiday, and Val, and Jabari, who have led the point guard position for so long. Andy Zam. Breeze is pretty old as well now. And he's the veteran guy. Marvin Young is a great player. Robert Jett is on his way to retirement in, I'd say, 1 year or 2 years. We'll see what his contract says or what he wants to do. If Cleveland cannot succeed, though, to win one more, I don't think you stay. The thing with Robert Jett is he was with LAS in 2009, so he has one more to chip than all of Cleveland combined. He also went to Cleveland in 2010, won that. 2014, won that. Has 3 rings. Val, on the other hand, has 5. Wants to get his 6th here this season. He's so enthusiastic about it. He wants it so badly. Beal, as this game has been so good. Wall ahead to Smart. He don't shoot that. And throws a lob away. Val's a steal. Deflection by Levi. Ahead and Allen. Val gets it back. Great job. Was that a maneuver? Count that as an assist from the other team. All right. Beal. Wait for the roll. Wait for Wall to pop out, I'd say. Wall, an off-ball screen. Smart on the drive. No. Blocked by Allen. Great job. Allen to Gill. He'll pull up Unable to that time, and a foul on the call by Allen. Wizards retain possession. And starters are back in for Baltimore. They wanted that to happen. Wizards take a timeout. 6 minutes to go. 4-point game. Wizards down. Our only buzzer beater this year has been Riley Bucket so far. Our Monday special, Minnesota at LAS, will be a national broadcasted game. Cleveland at Oklahoma City, a nationally broadcasted game. I want to see RJ and Carby go at it. Hey! Chicago at Minnesota, no, that's an RBA game. Washington, Seattle, RBA game. Denver at Seattle, RBA game. LAS at LAW, that's a great one. I think that's LAW's next one. I'd say a lot of teams are playing the next 2 days that we play having RBA games. No games Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, you know. And it's a great way to put on a show for the league. And a bang home trifecta. 4-point game still. Does everybody play? Bang! 88-84 now. Wall, he's trying to get this team back in it. Levi ahead to Wellman. Minnesota is 4 games. 5 games. And there you go, 1-point game, 4 minutes to go. My goodness, Val. Another 3. Those 2 teams are going at it right now. Oh my goodness. So Philly plays 4 times and Minnesota plays 5. And in the next 2 days that we have broadcasts, 17 out of 20 teams play. What are the teams that aren't playing? We'll have to figure that out. Unable to that time. Wall the rebound. Great job. Let's see, Nevada. And they hit. Miami and San Antonio are the 3 teams that are not going to make any appearances in these next Showtime days. Tridden, unable to. Why are you shooting that? Wellman rebounds ahead to Watson. He shoots a weird shot. Rebounded by Wall. He wants it so badly to end this 9-0 run. Or will Baltimore clinch a berth to the playoffs? Morris bangs it home. Baltimore clinches berth to the playoffs with a win here because there's only 19 games in a season. 9 and 10 is not guaranteed. Baltimore wants a timeout. LAW will play 2 times in these next 2 days, and they've already played once, so yeah. Baltimore will play once, and along with 5 other teams that will only play once. And Philly, Orlando, New York, LAS, all playing 3 times. LAW, Seattle, Chicago, Denver, San Diego, all playing 2 times, including this one if you're LAW. And Philly playing 4 times. Minnesota plays 5. So whatever Minnesota has, they're going to end their season right there. Basically, they have 5 games in the next. Crazy. It's April, guys. It's April, and playoffs are coming. It's 1 month away. Val unable to that time, and that's going to be a huge struggle. He's one of the biggest days, though, for the RBA. Block again! Great block by Val. He caught up with him. Gill trying to guard Tritton, but can't. 6-point game. They are undefeated. They're the only undefeated team left. Can they hold on, or will they choke this lead that they had the whole game? Gill shoots. Yes! And 2 minutes to go now in this Showtime coverage. Morris, Wizards want a timeout. They have 1 left after this. Great job by Darren Scaw coaching this team. Not many games left of the year, though, as you know. Spring break will occur, and then we'll have that right here on TNT. Right here on RBA Broadcasting Network. LAW now. This is a great game. I see this as the RBA Finals, honestly. Morris. Decisive minutes left to this time limit. The RBA Finals. Morris, unable to. The latest, the max the RBA Finals goes to is October 3rd. And the earliest it will end is September 28th. Val. Some days they don't even have the RBA. As there you go again. Another big shot. Mulder! Yes! 1 minute and 20 seconds. 80 seconds left of Baltimore's undefeated season. Can they hold on? Or will they lose? MacJack wide open. Bang! MacJack! And looking at stats, Waller is 28. Smart is doing a great job tonight. If you're Gill, you have takeover. What do you do with it? That's your choice. Gill posting up. Don't take any stupid shots. Find Mulder. Bang! 3-point game. Or 4-point game now. Mulder's got 13 in 20 minutes. He's doing a great job at shooting the ball. Catch and shoot right now. Great job. And they got to catch up. Slow pokes. Rebound by Tritton. Tritton throws it down. Rick Tritton. It's a 6-point game with 40 seconds to go. Val wants to chuck up a Randy. MacJack the rebound. LAW holding on. Baltimore's about to lose their first game of the season. I say don't foul. Don't right now. Don't. Good job. They're listening. Yeah, you got to pressure them, though. MacJack left wide open. Finds Beal. They have 1 more possession left if they were to get the ball. Remember, they've struggled getting the ball tonight. Good milking by LAW. You got to start fouling. Levi, you got to go if you're Val. You got 2 possessions left. Colby, unable to. Levi finds Val. Mulder, unable to. Wizards win. LAW defeats Baltimore The Baltimore undefeated season is over. It's all over. LAW wins. The Wizards finish out Baltimore. A heroic night of what you could see as one of the best games of the year. John Wall puts his body to work as they win. They defeat them. They're back in this one. They're back in it to win and make the playoffs. What a win. It's unbelievable that you just lost your first game. What's the feelings right now? Obviously, we're upset. You know, it's tough to lose. I feel like we have the best spot in the world, though. So we're just gonna have to keep our composure and push forward. It's a great win for us. We did a great job at pushing the pace and doing everything right, and we're happy. We're happy. We're happy we got the job done, and what else could we ask from anyone? We're happy. What a win for the Wizards. The Wizards beat them, and now they're 3-5. That makes them games behind, only 1.5 the first seed. Very close. They're only one game behind LAS, and if they beat LAS, it's over for LAS, basically. Because this is so close, that's how close it is. Philly plays 4 times in the next 2 days. How many times are they playing today specifically? Because that's important to know how many times they're playing today. They're playing at Orlando right now, and then they go to New York, and then they go to Minnesota tonight. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Unbelievable, man. I'll see you for the Philly and Orlando.